Hello, Immortal News family, and welcome back to our channel. In the last 24 hours, we have received the somber news of the passing of extraordinary talents, and today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Before we start, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
You stupid!
Number 9. Believe in yourself and that angel on your shoulder. And remember, the sun also shines for you. That simple yet powerful phrase was more than just Ed Gale's motto. It was how he lived. Ed Gale, beloved by fans across generations, has passed away at age 61. He died peacefully in his home, leaving behind a legacy that shines as brightly as his spirit. His journey began in Plainwell, Michigan, but his heart always belonged in Hollywood. With just $41 and a fearless drive, he hitchhiked to California and landed his very first audition, a role that would define a generation, the lead physical performance in Howard the Duck. Though the film received mixed reviews, Ed's contribution turned Howard into a cult classic. He wasn't just acting, he embodied a character many said could never come to life. But it was his chilling and unforgettable performance as the killer doll Chucky in Child's Play and its sequels that truly etched his place in movie history. Ed created the physical presence of Chucky, making the doll feel real, terrifying, and undeniably iconic. Over nearly 4 decades, Ed brought more than 130 characters to screens both big and small. From Bertie the Early Bird in McDonald's commercials to playing the baby dinosaur Tasha, and even performing dangerous stunts, including full body burns and wire flying, Ed never held back. He turned obstacles into fuel, often saying his height wasn't a challenge, but a superpower. At just 3 feet 4 inches tall, Ed stood taller than most with a presence that filled every room and every scene he entered. Colleagues remember him not only as a talented performer but a kind soul. One longtime crew member recalled, "Ed brought joy to every set and left people smiling long after he wrapped his scene." Even outside of acting, Ed remained a symbol of perseverance and passion. His story, from small-town dreamer to Hollywood legend, will continue to inspire. Though he's no longer with us, his spirit lives on in every laugh, every scream, and every magical moment he created. Tributes to Ed Gale.
Ena Hartman.
Number 8. Ena had grace, talent, and strength that lifted the room, said a former castmate. She didn't just read lines, she made people feel seen. Ena Hartman, a trailblazer whose quiet power shone through every role, has passed away at the age of 93. Her death in Van Nuys, California, came peacefully after a brief illness. To audiences in the 60s and 70s, Ena brought a steady brilliance to the screen. One of her most memorable roles was as Katie Grant, the calm and capable police dispatcher in the crime drama Dan August, where she shared the screen with Burt Reynolds. She later stood out as flight attendant Ruth in the blockbuster film Airport, a role that placed her in one of the highest-grossing films of that era. Ena's screen presence extended further, with roles in Ironside, Dragnet 1967, Police Story, and the adventurous Terminal Island. With every appearance, she gave her characters a thoughtful humanity that drew viewers in. She wasn't just acting, she was connecting. Born in Arkansas, Ena moved through the entertainment world with dignity during a time when opportunities for Black actresses were limited and deeply unjust. She broke ground simply by showing up, and then she shined. Her path opened doors for others, proving that inclusion could be compelling and powerful, all at once. Though her acting career was relatively short, she left an impression that lasted. Even after stepping away from Hollywood in the mid-1970s, fans continued to see her work through reruns and later compilations, especially from the Dan August series. To those who knew her, Ena was thoughtful, determined, and deeply kind. She lived with quiet courage, never demanding the spotlight, but earning it through grace and strength of character. Her passing is a loss to those who love classic television, to Arkansas natives who claim her as one of their own, and especially to those who saw in her roles a chance to dream bigger. Tributes to Ena Hartman. Number 7. His word was his bond. That's how colleagues and artists remember Brian Avnet, a man who built lasting trust in an industry where that can be rare. He passed away peacefully at 82, following a brief illness, leaving behind a legacy that shaped modern music in more ways than one. Brian began his journey backstage, working as a road manager for Bette Midler, but his talent for understanding artists and shaping careers would soon take center stage. Over the span of 3 decades, he guided some of the biggest voices in music, always with care and conviction. As a manager, he stood beside Josh Groban, helping him rise with integrity and purpose. He managed the Manhattan Transfer during their most dynamic years and worked closely with legendary producer David Foster. He also supported stars like Frankie Valli and played a major role in launching the careers of Michael Bublé, Beth Hart, and the Corrs. At 143 Records, Brian helped create a space where talent could grow. His efforts led to timeless performances and unforgettable songs. But perhaps what set him apart most was his honesty. He never signed contracts with his clients, just a handshake and a promise he always kept. Friends and former colleagues speak of his loyalty and kindness. One post remembered him as a great and caring friend, noting that Brian was fiercely loyal, generous, and hardworking. In the Josh Groban community, he was regarded as someone who built a career the right way, with patience, integrity, and deep respect for the art. He wasn't just a music executive. He was a builder of dreams, a quiet force behind the scenes who gave artists space to shine. Brian's impact will continue through the songs he helped bring into the world and the artists whose careers he carefully guided. His legacy is written in harmonies, headlines, and the hearts of those he championed. Tributes to Brian Avnet. Number 6. The NFB and the Canadian animation community have lost a dear friend and colleague, said Suzanne Guevremont, chair of the National Film Board. Fortunately for us, we have his legacy of beloved works, which embody so much of his unique spirit. Co Hoedeman, the Oscar-winning animator who brought sand to life and gave voice to untold stories, has passed away at the age of 84. He died peacefully on May 26, 2025, after a short illness. Born in Amsterdam during wartime, Hoedeman grew up amidst hardship. He later found solace in creativity, first as a photographic retoucher, then in filmmaking. At just 25, he arrived in Montreal with a single film reel and a dream. Within days, he had joined the National Film Board of Canada, where his career flourished. Over 5 decades, he created more than 27 groundbreaking films. Each one explored new textures, forms, and feelings. His masterpiece, The Sandcastle, earned him the Academy Award and remains a triumph of stop-motion animation. Crafted using sand, the film shared a wordless but powerful message about community, fragility, and imagination. His early classic, CHUCKY, built from wooden blocks, won a BAFTA. In a deeply respectful collaboration with northern communities, he brought Inuit legends to life using traditional materials like sealskin and soapstone, connecting culture with craft. To children around the world, he was the heart behind Ludovic, the lovable teddy bear whose stories offered gentle lessons and warmth. yet he never shied away from complexity. In his later years, Hoedeman turned to stories shaped by real pain. 55 Socks recalled the hunger of his childhood. The Blue Marble and the Cardinal explored the trauma of war and recovery. What set Hoedeman apart wasn't just his artistry, it was his compassion. He saw with a storyteller's eye and felt with a thinker's heart. He believed animation could be whimsical, but also a mirror to humanity. Co Hoedeman leaves behind his children, grandchildren, and a world touched by his unique vision. Animators he mentored continue to follow his path of honesty and experimentation. His work, both joyful and solemn, continues to teach us things long after the credits roll. In every grain of sand and flicker of frame, his spirit lives on. Tributes to Co Hoedeman. Number 5. His style and energy added flair and excitement to Kool and the Gang for decades. These words from Mableton Mayor Michael Owens echo the feelings of countless fans mourning the loss of Michael's Chicago Mike Sumler, who passed away at age 71. Michael died in a car accident in Cobb County, Georgia. A sudden and heartbreaking end to a life filled with rhythm, joy, and purpose. From growing up on the streets of Chicago to lighting up worldwide stages, Michael's journey through music was nothing short of legendary. He joined Kool and the Gang in the mid-'80s, bringing with him unmatched stage presence, powerful vocals, and a fresh creative spark. For nearly 40 years he helped shape the sound and energy that kept the iconic group at the top. Whether dancing across the stage or directing the visual style of the band, Michael made every performance unforgettable. He wasn't just a performer, he was the heartbeat of the show. His presence was magnetic, his joy contagious. In 2024, Kool and the Gang was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For Michael, it was a crowning moment in a lifetime of passion and performance. Yet even with that legacy, he never stopped investing in others. He mentored rising artists and remained deeply involved in the local communities where he lived and worked, especially in Atlanta. To colleagues like Adrian Meeks of SongSource Music Group, Michael was more than a musician. "This is a devastating blow," Meeks said, recalling him as a source of encouragement and light for everyone he worked with. Behind the spotlight was a man known for his warmth. Fans describe him as uplifting and approachable. He gave as much offstage as he did in his performances, building connections, spreading joy, and leading with generosity. Michael Sumler leaves behind friends, family, and fans who will always remember the way he made them feel. His impact lives on in every note, every step, every memory shared through song. Tributes to Michael Sumler. Number 4. Ngugi lived a full life, fought a good fight. As was his last wish, let's celebrate his life and his work. These heartfelt words from his daughter, Wanjiku Ngugi, reflect the spirit of a man whose voice shaped a continent's literary soul. Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who passed away at the age of 87, leaves behind not only pages of unforgettable stories, but also a living legacy of cultural pride and resistance. From his humble beginnings in Kamiritu, Kenya, Ngugi rose to become one of Africa's most powerful literary and intellectual figures. He wrote with fierce honesty, giving voice to the struggles of a post-colonial nation finding its identity. His novels, including The River Between, A Grain of Wheat, and Devil on the Cross, became cornerstones of African literature. They didn't just tell stories, they questioned systems, challenged authority, and awakened a generation. But Ngugi's true revolution was in language. He turned away from English and dedicated himself to writing in Gikuyu. For him, language was culture, and preserving it was an act of resistance. His groundbreaking decision inspired authors around the world to embrace their native tongues. He paid the price for his courage. After co-writing the play Ngahika Ndinda, which criticized corruption and inequality in Kenya, he was imprisoned. Yet even behind bars, his words did not stop. They grew stronger. Exiled from his homeland, Ngugi carried his message across borders. He taught at top universities in the US and continued writing prolifically. His work, including essays, plays, and stories for children, carried the same heartbeat of justice and hope. His short story, The Upright Revolution, was translated into over 100 languages, a fitting tribute to a man who believed that all cultures deserved a voice. Ngugi was also a father, mentor, and fierce believer in humanity. He encouraged young writers. He stood for the silenced. He believed in African futures shaped by African hands. He passed away peacefully in the United States following a period of illness. His children, including authors Mukoma and Wanjiku Ngugi, ensure that his legacy continues. Nigerian writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie once said, "Ngugi taught us that our mother tongues are not shameful, they are powerful." Today, that power lives on. Tributes to Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Number 3. Chronicle of the Years of Fire is a film against injustice, against humiliation. Mohammed Lakhdar-Hamina once said, "With every frame he brought the cries of a nation to the screen." The legendary Algerian filmmaker has passed away at the age of 91, following a brief illness. His work gave voice to a country in search of identity, justice, and liberation. He wasn't just a storyteller, he was a witness to history. Born in Masila, his journey from soldier to resistance fighter to global cinema icon reflected the very arc of Algeria itself. Lakhdar-Hamina made history when he became the first Arab and African filmmaker to receive the Palme d'Or at Cannes, an honor awarded for his masterpiece Chronicle of the Years of Fire. The film captured the suffering, resilience, and awakening of a people under colonial rule. Its impact went far beyond cinema halls. It became part of a nation's memory. He began his artistic steps in Prague, honing his craft at a time when Algeria was still fighting for freedom. From the powerful Jazai Runa to his later Cannes-recognized pieces like The Winds of the Oars and The Last Image, his films challenged audiences while preserving a generation's truth. After independence, he helped shape Algeria's film institutions, founding and leading national studios with the aim of building a new cultural identity. His hand was not only in directing but in building a nation's cinematic soul. Filmmakers across Africa and the Arab world credit him as an inspiration. His work remains part of cinema history and continues to influence voices far beyond Algeria. Just days before his passing, the Cannes Film Festival celebrated the 50th anniversary of his Palme d'Or win, a testament to his lasting impact. Director Rashid Bouchareb reflected, "Lakhdar-Hamina showed us that cinema could be resistance. Through him, we learned to tell our stories with pride. He is remembered not only for what he achieved, but for why he created, to reflect truth, to demand justice, and to honor a people's voice." Tributes to Mohammed Lakhdar-Hamina. Number 2. His music always had a highly individual human touch to it which was hard to describe. May you rest in peace, Per. Thank you for the music. These words from fellow composer Søren Niels Eichberg capture the spirit of Per Nørgård, an artist whose voice resonated far beyond the concert hall. Known for challenging conventions and gently reshaping our understanding of sound, he carved a nuanced, unforgettable path through the world of classical music. Per Nørgård passed away peacefully at the age of 92, leaving behind a legacy both rich in innovation and deeply human. The Danish composer's groundbreaking career spanned over 70 years. He gifted the world 8 symphonies, 6 operas, and countless choral and chamber works that reached audiences across continents. One of his defining contributions came with the Infinity series, a compositional technique that generated organic, evolving patterns in music. Its influence can still be felt today in the works of composers he mentored and inspired. Symphony No. 3, celebrated worldwide, stands as a cultural cornerstone, so much so that it was included in Denmark's official cultural canon. Through operas like Gilgamesh, The Divine Tivoli, and Siddhartha, Nørgård explored myth, philosophy, and the human condition with a rare and brave honesty. More than just a composer, he was also a guiding figure in music education. From the Royal Danish Conservatory to the Aarhus Conservatory, his thoughtful mentorship helped cultivate the brightest voices of Nordic music. Many of those students today carry forward his spirit of curiosity and fearless exploration. Nørgård was honored with numerous accolades, including the prestigious Ernst von Siemens Music Prize, yet perhaps his most lasting achievement was the emotional connection his music created. His compositions often felt intimate, even when complex, resonating with simplicity, warmth, and vision. He passed away from natural causes, surrounded by the echoes of a life lived in harmony with sound. He is survived by family, former students, and admirers across generations. Per Nørgård leaves behind a world that sings more deeply because of him, a world that will remember not only his notes, but the silence between them. Tributes to Per Nørgård. What's trending on the internet? News 1. Bindi Irwin is sharing a heartfelt health update after undergoing emergency surgery earlier this month. The beloved 26-year-old conservationist and daughter of the late Steve Irwin was recently hospitalized to remove her appendix and address complications from endometriosis, a condition she's battled for over 12 years. In a touching Instagram post on May 25th, Bindi shared photos of herself recovering, along with a powerful message about her journey. "I've battled with endometriosis for more than 12 years," she wrote. "This disease is crippling and can make you feel incredibly isolated." Her recent surgery removed her appendix, 14 endometriosis lesions, and repaired a hernia she developed during childbirth 4 years ago. What makes Bindi's story so inspiring is her commitment to raising awareness for other women suffering from undiagnosed pain. "We need to raise awareness and change the narrative for women's health," she emphasized, directing followers to the Endometriosis Foundation of America for more information. The health emergency forced Bindi to miss the annual Steve Irwin Gala in Las Vegas on May 10th, an event that celebrates her father's conservation legacy. Her brother Robert later explained to the media that she would be okay, noting that, out of all the things we were ready for, that was not one of them. Bindi's advocacy has already made a difference. One grateful follower commented that because of Bindi's openness about her condition, their daughter-in-law finally received proper medical attention and diagnosis after years of suffering. As Bindi continues to heal and share her story, she remains an inspiration not just for her conservation work, but for giving voice to millions of women whose pain has gone unrecognized. Her courage and candidness remind us that behind the wildlife adventures and television appearances is someone committed to making a difference in every aspect of her life. News 2. Former Today Show host Hoda Kotb has opened up about a deeply personal family matter that influenced her decision to step away from her longtime role on the popular morning program. During her return visit to the Today Show on May 28th, Kotb revealed that her 6-year-old daughter Hope has been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. The 60-year-old mother of 2 shared how this health challenge became a turning point in her professional life when she appeared as a guest on the show she left back in January. Kotb explained that her daughter's condition required constant monitoring and care that was difficult to manage alongside her demanding morning show schedule. "You just get a priority check in your life," Kotb told her former co-anchors, Savannah Guthrie and Craig Melvin during the segment. I can be here and sweating what's happening to Hope in the morning and in the night, or I can be there and feel relief. Codby described how Hope's early symptoms resembled the flu but were so severe she had to be rushed to the hospital. Now the family has established a care routine that works, though it requires vigilant attention. Hope needs regular monitoring of her blood sugar and must follow dietary restrictions that other children don't face. Despite these challenges, Codby emphasized her desire to let Hope enjoy a normal childhood, saying, "Don't put your worry on your kid. Watch them, but don't put your worry on them. Let them be kids and give them what they need when they need it." Since leaving today, Codby has embraced her new routine, which includes school drop-offs and being fully present for both Hope and her older daughter Haley, who is 8. Her Instagram posts show a mother thriving in her new role, with former colleague Carson Daly commenting on one photo, and that's what it's all about. Codby's story reminds us all about the importance of being present for our loved ones when they need us most, and how sometimes the most courageous career decisions are the ones that put family first. News 3. Here's a story that's sure to warm your heart and inspire. Matthew Ramsey, the 47-year-old frontman for the country band Old Dominion, has faced more than his share of setbacks over the past several years. Since 2018, Matthew has endured 3 major injuries: a torn hip from leaping around on stage, a broken rib and punctured lung after a tough fall from a 16-foot ladder, and just last year, a fractured pelvis from an ATV accident. These painful moments took a toll, triggering a deep depression that left him feeling buried and fearful of performing. But Matthew's journey didn't end there. With determination, support from loved ones, and the help of ketamine therapy and a rigorous fitness routine, he's found his way back, stronger than ever. Now he's outpacing his own bandmates in airports and stepping onto stage without pain or worry, ready for Old Dominion's worldwide tour. Matthew says he's finally able to feel the sun again. His resilience is a powerful reminder that even during the hardest times, it's possible to come back stronger and rediscover joy. And as Old Dominion gets ready to bring their music to fans around the world, Matthew Ramsey's story stands as a beacon of hope and courage for us all. News 4. In a surprising turn of events for rock music fans, legendary band The Who has announced they're heading for retirement, according to a joint statement released by Pete Townshend and Roger Daltrey on May 18th. The iconic British rockers, who have been performing together for nearly 6 decades, shared this bittersweet news with their worldwide fanbase. The announcement comes just a month after some behind-the-scenes drama with longtime drummer Zach Starkey. In mid-April, there was confusion about Starkey's status with the band, with initial reports suggesting he might be replaced. However, Townshend quickly clarified the situation, confirming that Starkey would remain with the group after working through what he described as communication issues. In their retirement statement, Townshend and Daltrey mentioned that drummer Scott DeVowers would be replacing Starkey for their final performances. Starkey, who is 20 years younger than the founding members, will be focusing on his new band and other musical projects, with Townshend and Daltrey expressing their well wishes for his future endeavors. This retirement announcement follows what appeared to be promising plans for The Who in 2025. Last fall, Townshend had confirmed the band would tour America this year, even mentioning that he and Daltrey were in good form, despite getting a bit creaky. He had expressed enthusiasm about returning to a more stripped-down, energetic performance style. For fans of classic rock, this marks the end of an incredible musical journey that began in London in the 1960s. The Who's influential catalog includes timeless hits like My Generation, Baba O'Reilly, and the rock operas Tommy and Quadrophenia. Their revolutionary sound and explosive live performances have inspired generations of musicians and fans alike. As The Who prepares to take their final bow, their musical legacy will undoubtedly continue to resonate with listeners around the world for generations to come. News 5. Neighbors of the Liverpool parade crash suspect are expressing shock and disbelief following the incident that injured 79 people during Liverpool's Premier League title celebration. The 53-year-old man, described by those who know him as a fantastic father of 3 and company director, remains in custody as police continue their investigation. The horrific incident occurred on Monday when a car drove into crowds gathered on Water Street to celebrate Liverpool's victory. 7 people remain hospitalized following what witnesses described as moments of pure terror that only ended when the vehicle finally stopped, with people trapped underneath. Residents of the quiet cul-de-sac in West Derby where the suspect lives say they were shocked by his arrest, with some expressing that it doesn't make sense given their knowledge of him. Police arrived at his detached four-bedroom brick house on Monday night, and authorities were granted additional time to question him on suspicion of attempted murder, dangerous driving, and drug driving. The seriousness of the incident prompted Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer to make an unscheduled visit to Liverpool on Wednesday afternoon. During his meeting with police chiefs, Starmer remarked, "The scenes on Monday were just awful. To see how incredible joy at an amazing achievement turned to horror in a moment." The Prime Minister emphasized his desire to understand the details of the case firsthand. As the investigation continues, the community is coming together to support those affected by this tragic turn of events that disrupted what should have been a joyous celebration for around 1 million fans who had gathered in the city. Number 1. Football lives on in the feet of the brave, Juan Ramón Verón once said, and he spent his life proving it. Known as La Bruja, Verón was magic in motion. With unmatched vision and dazzling control, he turned the field into a canvas, leaving opponents and fans in awe. He passed away at 81 after a period of declining health, leaving behind not just a legacy of titles, but a style and spirit that defined an era. His impact found its roots in La Plata, where he rose to stardom with Estudiantes. There, leading the club to win 3 straight Copa Libertadores, he became a symbol of creativity and determination. His famous hat trick against Palmeiras lit up the continent, and his strike at Old Trafford against Manchester United proved his class on a global stage. Verón also made his mark overseas. He carried his talent to Greece with Panathinaikos and later helped Atletico Junior capture a Colombian championship. Each stop in his journey added new chapters to a storied career. But it was always Estudiantes that held his heart. He returned not once, but twice, wearing the red and white as a player and later nurturing the next generation. His flair on the pitch was mirrored by his warmth off it, a mentor, a teammate, a father. That role as a father carried its own legacy. His son, Juan Sebastián Verón, followed his steps. Together, they became the only father and son duo to each lift the Copa Libertadores with Estudiantes, over 40 years apart. In that bond, the Verón name turned into more than history. It became heritage. Tributes poured in as news of his passing spread. He taught us to play without fear. One former teammate shared, to take joy in the challenge. Juan Ramón Verón wasn't just a footballer, he was a leader, an idol, and an artist of the game. His stories will be shared in stadiums and schoolyards as long as football lives in Argentina. Tributes to Juan Ramón Verón. Her presence lit up the stage before she ever said a word. One colleague once remarked about Tina Elg,